Alright, folks, let me ask you something. How often do you check your pocket change? I mean, really check it? Because if you're just spending those pennies without a second glance, you might be tossing away a small fortune. And today, I'm going to tell you about one tiny little coin that's making some big waves. The 2014 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1.8 million. For a penny. That's like finding a winning lottery ticket in your couch cushions. So grab a magnifying glass, raid that old change jar, and stick around, because I'm going to break down exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to spot one, and what to do if you hit the jackpot. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, one of those places where you find everything from vintage records to questionable hot dogs. I saw this older gentleman hunched over a little table, sifting through a pile of pennies like his life depended on it. Curious, I walked over and asked him what he was looking for. He looked up, grinned, and said, "Retirement." At first, I thought he was joking. But nope, he was dead serious. Turns out, he was a coin hunter, searching for rare pennies that could be worth a fortune. And guess what? He had a 2014 D penny in his collection, though at the time, none of us knew just how valuable it would become. So, what makes this penny special? Why is a simple 2014 D Lincoln cent worth nearly 2 million bucks? Well, let's break it down. First, the mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was produced. But not just any 2014 D penny will do. This one has some very specific errors and features that set it apart. One of the most notable things about this rare penny is a dramatic minting error, an ultra-rare double die obverse. That means parts of Lincoln's face, lettering, or date may appear doubled under magnification. These doubling errors happen when the die strikes the coin more than once but slightly misaligns, creating a shadow-like effect. And collectors go absolutely wild for these kinds of errors. But wait, there's more. Some versions of this coin also feature a rare off-metal strike, meaning they were accidentally minted on the wrong type of planchet, like a nickel or even a silver dime. These errors make the coin incredibly rare and desirable. Now, let's talk numbers. How did a humble penny go from being worth, well, a penny, to a staggering $1.8 million? Simple: rarity and demand. Only a few of these error pennies exist, and hardcore collectors are willing to pay big money to own one. The most recent sale of this coin set the record, and who knows? If another one pops up, it could sell for even more. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how do I find one of these? First step, check your change. Dig into those old piggy banks, raid your glove compartment, and yes, even ask grandma if she's got a stash of pennies lying around. Then, inspect your 2014 D pennies closely. If you see doubling, odd metal coloration, or anything unusual, get it checked by a professional coin grader. So there you have it. The 2014 D Lincoln penny, one of the most valuable modern coins out there. Who would have thought a little copper coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion? But hey, that's the magic of coin collecting. Now, before you rush off to check your pennies, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more videos coming up on rare coins, money-making coin hunting strategies, and expert tips to help you strike gold, copper. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Alright, folks, get ready because today we are talking about a tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. The 1988 D Lincoln penny, a coin that most people have probably tossed in a tip jar or left on the sidewalk, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. That's right, nearly $2 million for a single penny. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions and digging through your car's cup holders, let's talk about what makes this coin so special and how you can check if you have one up. At first, let me tell you about the time I almost missed out on a valuable coin myself. I was at a flea market, sifting through a box of old coins, when I saw a penny that looked just a little different. But I thought, it's just a penny. I almost walked away, but something told me to take a second look. Turns out, that 1 cent was worth a few $100. Ever since then, I check every single penny I get. And let me tell you, when it comes to the 1988 D penny, You should too. So, what exactly makes the 1988 D Lincoln penny worth nearly $2 million? Let's break it down. First off, the key to this penny's insane value is a little thing called the transition error. In 1988, the US Mint was preparing for a design update. Some pennies were mistakenly struck using the 1989 obverse front design instead of the correct 1988 design. The main difference? The lettering on the word Liberty and the designer's initials FG near the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. On the rare error penny, the font and spacing matched the 1989 version, not the 1988 version. Only a few of these error pennies have been found. That's why they're worth so much money. They are ultra rare, and collectors are willing to pay an absolute fortune to get their hands on one now. How do you know if you have one of these golden, well, copper tickets? Grab a magnifying glass or one of those fancy jeweler's loupes and check your 1988 D penny. Look at the designer initials FG on the reverse. If the letters are more squared and close together, congratulations. You might be holding on to a coin that could change your life. Let's talk about market value for a second. The most expensive 1988 D Lincoln penny with this error sold for a staggering $1.9 million at auction. But even if yours isn't in mint condition, it could still be worth thousands. Some of these error pennies have sold for $20,000, $50,000, even $100,000 depending on the grade. That's a serious return on investment for something most people overlook. So, what's the moral of today's story? Always check your pennies. The next time you get change at the store or find some loose coins lying around, take a closer look. That 1988 D Lincoln penny you just tossed aside could be worth more than your house. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next rare coin that could make you rich. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, and let's keep the conversation going. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers. What if I told you that a single penny, the kind you might find in your couch cushions or at the bottom of your glove box, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that has collectors going absolutely bananas. Now, before you start digging through your pocket change like a man on a mission, stick with me because I'm going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you actually find one. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. First off, let's address the big question. Why is this penny worth so much? The 1967 Lincoln penny doesn't have a mint mark, which is actually pretty common for that year. In 1967, the US Mint was trying to discourage coin hoarding, so they left off mint marks altogether. But here's the kicker. Not all 1967 pennies are created equal. There's one very special version of this penny that has collectors in a frenzy. This rare specimen has an extremely unique doubling effect, also known as a double die error. That means some of the lettering, or even Lincoln's face, appears slightly duplicated. It might not look like much at first glance, but to a collector, this is like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. And let's talk about condition. If your penny has been through the ringer, scratched up, faded, or looking like it survived a garbage disposal, it's not going to fetch $1 million. The ones that hit the jackpot are in pristine, uncirculated condition. That means if you find one of these in an old coin roll or a collection from Grandpa's attic, you might just hit the numismatic lottery. Now, let me tell you a quick story about how I almost missed out on a valuable penny. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He handed me a dusty old jar filled with pennies, and I, being the coin nerd that I am, started sifting through them. He laughed and said, "Good luck getting rich off those." But guess what? Tucked inside that jar was a 1969 double die Lincoln penny, worth thousands. Now, it wasn't $1 million find, but you better believe I did a little happy dance. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know what you might be sitting on. Now, how do you know if you have the $1 million 1967 no mint mark penny? This is standard for 1967 pennies, but it's still the first thing to check. Look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and in God we trust. If you see any doubling in the letters, you could be onto something big. Coins that have never been circulated, or have been carefully preserved are the ones that fetch the big bucks. If you think you've hit the jackpot, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks can officially certify whether you're sitting on a fortune. If you do find this penny, please, for the love of all things numismatic, do not just take it to your local bank and cash it in for 1 cent. That would be like selling a winning lottery ticket for a cup of coffee. Get it graded, take it to an auction house, and let the bidding war begin. So, now that you know about this incredible 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and how it could change your life, what are you waiting for? Go check your piggy banks, your coin jars, and even that pile of spare change in your car's cup holder. Who knows? You might just be holding $1 million penny and not even realize it. And if you love learning about coins worth big money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I post new videos all the time to help you spot hidden treasures in your pocket change. Also, drop a comment below and let me know, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. All right, that's it for today. Happy hunting, and may the coin gods be in your favor. All right, folks, gather around because today we are diving into a coin that could change your life. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a regular old penny, and finding out it's worth over $1 million. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? Well, it's real, and it's happening. We're talking about the legendary 2017 D. Lincoln penny, yes, the one that's currently making headlines for selling at auction for a mind-blowing $1.1 million. If that doesn't make you want to check every penny in your couch cushions, I don't know what will now. I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny worth over $1 million? That's got to be a mistake. But stick around, because I'm breaking down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what you should do if you're lucky enough to find one. And trust me, you don't want to miss this, especially if you enjoy the idea of turning pocket change into a retirement plan. Let's start with a little backstory. The 2017 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the date. Now, most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But once in a while, something goes wrong, or right, depending on how you look at it. What makes this particular penny so valuable? It all comes down to an extremely rare mint error. We're talking about a mistake so unique that collectors are willing to shell out 7 figures for it. It's believed that a few of these 2017 D pennies were struck using an experimental planchet, a rare type of blank metal disc that was never meant to be used for circulating coins. The result? A coin that looks just a little different from your everyday penny. Now, I know what you're wondering. How can you tell if you have one of these $1 million coins? First, check for the D mint mark. If it's there, that's a good start. Next, examine the surface. These rare pennies have a slightly different color and texture, almost like a satin finish. Some even have subtle die errors or doubling, which makes them stand out from the crowd. But let me tell you a quick personal story about why you should always double-check your change. A few years back, I was at a gas station, fumbling for exact change because, I didn't want to break a $20 just for a soda. I handed the cashier some coins, and right as I was about to walk away, I noticed a penny that looked a little off. Something about it caught my eye. But in a rush, I shrugged it off and left. Later that night, curiosity got the best of me, so I did some research. Turns out that off penny I had casually spent could have been worth a few $1,000s. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might be holding on to a small fortune, so what should you do if you think you found a rare 2017 D. Lincoln penny? First, don't spend it, obviously. Second, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin is going to fetch way more money than one that's just sitting in your hand. And if it turns out to be one of the rare experimental planchet pennies, well, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Alright folks, if today's video taught you anything, it's that the next time you get change at the store, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Give those pennies a second look. You never know when one of them could be worth more than your car. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or even mildly amusing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post regular videos about coins worth money and the strategies that can turn your pocket change into real profit. Also, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny coin with a giant price tag. Imagine digging through your old jar of pennies, maybe one that's been sitting on your dresser since 1991, and BM. You find out that little copper beauty is worth a mind-blowing $1.3 million. That's right, we're diving into the story of the 1991 D. Lincoln penny that's turning heads in the coin collecting world. So grab your magnifying glasses and let's get to it. Now, let me start with a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale. Yeah, I know, I live life on the edge, when I saw a dusty old coffee can labeled Grandpa's Lucky Pennies. Of course, I had to take a peek. As I sifted through, I found all kinds of old cents, and I thought, what if one of these is worth something crazy? Spoiler alert. None of them were, but hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? Fast forward to today, and some lucky person out there actually found a 1991 D penny worth over $1 million. Talk about luck. So, what makes this 1991 D penny so valuable? Great question. The answer lies in a rare minting error. This particular penny was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the usual zinc-coated core. Long story short, it shouldn't exist, but somehow, it slipped through the cracks at the Denver Mint. These kinds of errors are like unicorns in the coin world. Rare, mysterious, and worth a fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you've got one. First off, you'll need a good scale because the weight difference is the biggest clue. A regular 1991 D penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. The rare one? It's closer to 3.1 grams. If your penny is tipping the scale at the heavier end, you might just have something special. Next, check the color. The valuable one has a richer, more coppery tone compared to the usual pennies from that year. And if you're still unsure, get yourself a magnet, because unlike the common zinc pennies, the rare one won't be affected by a magnet at all. But hold on, don't go quitting your day job just yet. There's a catch. Finding one of these pennies is like winning the lottery. Only a tiny handful are known to exist, and the demand for them is sky high. That's why one recently sold for over $1.3 million at auction. Collectors go nuts for these rarities, and when competition heats up, so do the prices. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, great, now I need to check every single penny I've ever touched, you're not alone. That's the fun of coin collecting. Who knows? You might be sitting on a jackpot and not even know it. And if you don't have one of these million-dollar beauties, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable coins still floating around. So here's what you do next. Grab that change jar, hit up your local flea markets, and start searching. And if you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe because we've got plenty more where this came from. Hit that like button, leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny copper treasure that could make you a millionaire. Imagine digging through your pocket change and finding a humble 1998 penny, no mint mark, and boom. It's worth $1.4 million. That's right, more than a mansion, more than a Ferrari, and definitely more than my first car, which, by the way, had a steering wheel that only worked on Tuesdays. Now, you might be thinking, wait, a penny? Worth more than $1 million? Yep, and I'm here to tell you all about why, how to spot it, and how to cash in if you strike gold. Or in this case, copper. So stick around, hit that like button, and let's dive into the world of million-dollar pennies. Let's start with the basics. In 1998, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, you'd find a little letter under the date, D for Denver, or P for Philadelphia. But in some rare cases, a penny slipped out with no mint mark at all. That's the jackpot coin we're talking about today. Why is it so rare? Well, the U.S. Mint is usually pretty good at keeping things uniform. But every now and then, something funky happens. Like an employee having a bad Monday, forgetting to stamp the mint mark, and boom, history is made. Think of it like a factory worker forgetting to put the ketchup in your burger, except instead of disappointment, you get a life-changing payday. Now, let me tell you a little personal story. A while back, I was at my grandpa's house, helping him roll his change. You know, the classic paying you in wisdom instead of money kind of grandparent move. Anyway, we were rolling pennies, and I started checking dates just for fun. And there it was, a 1998 penny with no mint mark. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. But before I could start planning my yacht purchase, we looked it up and realized mine was just a regular Philly penny. Still worth a solid 1 cent. But hey, a guy can dream. Now, let's talk about what makes this penny worth $1.4 million. The big money comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors go crazy for mint errors, especially rare ones like this. If a coin is an uncirculated specimen, meaning it's still shiny, untouched, and in pristine condition, it can fetch a sky-high price at auction. One of these bad boys was recently valued at $1.4 million, and it's got collectors on the hunt. Dig through your old piggy bank, check those couch cushions, and maybe even ask Grandma to borrow her change jar. Just be ready to listen to a few back in my day stories as payment. Step 2. Grab a magnifying glass and check your 1998 pennies. If there's no mint mark, you might just have a winner. Step 3. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because, let's be real, you don't want to be the person who sells $1 million coin for a quick $5. So, there you have it. A simple little penny that could be worth more than a house. And the best part? It might be sitting in your pocket change right now. Imagine that. You're walking around with a fortune and don't even know it. Now, if you love hunting for treasure in your spare time and want more tips on coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos packed with tips, stories, and coin collecting strategies so you never miss out on the next big find. And hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny, at least you'll have some fun along the way. You're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for a quarter to feed that annoyingly hungry parking meter, when, bam, you spot a penny. And not just any penny. A 2002 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Looks ordinary, right? Well, buckle up, because this tiny copper-colored coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. Yep, you heard that right. $1.5 million. For a penny. I bet you're eyeing your coin jar right now. Don't worry, we're gonna break this all down so you know exactly what to look for. Alright, let's get into the juicy details. What makes this penny so special? First off, the no mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually isn't a big deal. But here's the twist. This particular penny has a rare error that sets it apart from the billions of others out there. Now, before we dive into that, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, sifting through a vendor's junk coins. You know, the ones they sell for $1 each because they think they're just common pocket change? Well, my eyes landed on a slightly off-looking 2002 penny. Something about it just seemed different. The color was slightly off, the strike looked sharper, and, call it gut instinct, I just had a feeling. I bought it for $1, took it home, and started researching. Now, mine didn't turn out to be the $1 million one, but it was a double-die variety worth about $500. Not bad for $1, right? So, moral of the story, always trust your gut when it comes to coins. Back to our 2002 no mint mark penny. What's the big deal? The key thing is a rare misprint that happened during the minting process. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal composition was off. Others have dramatic double-die errors where the lettering or Lincoln's face looks doubled. These tiny imperfections make collectors go wild, and when collectors want something bad enough, the price skyrockets. Right now, the highest recorded sale of this exact coin was a mind-blowing $1.5 million. That's not just life-changing money, that's retire on a private island money. And the best part? There could still be more out there waiting to be found, so how do you know if you've got the golden, or, well, copper ticket sitting in your couch cushions? First, grab a magnifying glass or one of those fancy jeweler's loupes. Look for doubling on the date, lettering, and Lincoln's face. Next, weigh it. A normal penny should be about 2.5 grams. If yours is way off, either heavier or lighter, you might have a rare planchet error. And of course, if the coin looks different in color, shinier, or has a strange texture, you might be holding something special. If you think you've hit the jackpot, don't go spending it at the vending machine just yet. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if your penny is legit and what it's really worth. Trust me, it's worth the extra step. Nobody wants to be the person who accidentally spins $1 million penny on a bag of chips. So there you have it. That boring old penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to an early retirement. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone looking for an exciting treasure hunt, checking your change has never been more fun or more profitable. And if you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of coin collecting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money that you don't want to miss. Plus, let's be real. Who doesn't love the idea of turning spare change into serious cash? Now, go grab your coin jar and start searching. Who knows? The next millionaire collector might just be you. All right, coin lovers, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny piece of copper that's worth more than a mansion. That's right. There's a 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny out there valued at a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Can you believe it? A penny. The kind you find in couch cushions or stuck under your car seat. And the craziest part? You might just have one in your collection without even knowing it. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your pocket, let's talk about why this little copper beauty is so valuable. But first, let me tell you a quick story about a time I almost lost a valuable coin without even realizing it. So, picture this. I'm at a gas station, grabbing a coffee, and I get some change back. I glance at the pennies, and one looks kinda different. But I'm in a rush, so I toss it in my pocket and forget about it. Later, I dump my change jar into a coin-counting machine and boom, I realize I might have just sent a rare coin off to be turned into who knows what. Ever since then, I check my change like a detective at a crime scene. And trust me, after today's video, you will too. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this million-dollar penny. First things first, what makes the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? In 1967, the U.S. Mint didn't include mint marks on coins. That means whether a penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it wouldn't have a mint mark. So, you might be thinking, wait, doesn't that mean all 1967 pennies have no mint mark? You'd be right. But what makes this one worth a fortune? The real kicker is an incredibly rare error or variety that makes this penny stand out. Some collectors believe that a very small batch of 1967 pennies was struck with an unusual die or had a unique composition error, leading to a handful of extraordinary specimens. These coins have been found in pristine condition with a unique luster and near-perfect strikes, making them incredibly desirable. In the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. That's why some of these pennies have been sold for upwards of $1.6 million at high-end auctions. So, how do you know if you have one? Well, if you have a 1967 Lincoln penny lying around, here's what you need to do. Check the condition. The more flawless, the better. Look for minimal scratches, no heavy wear, and sharp details. Weigh it. A standard Lincoln penny from this era should weigh about 3.11 grams. Any deviation could be a clue to a rare error. Examine it under magnification. Look for unusual doubling, strange die errors, or any peculiar features that make it different from an average 1967 penny. Get it appraised. If you think you've hit the jackpot, take your penny to a reputable coin dealer or get it graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC now. Let's talk about the current market. The coin market is hotter than ever, and rare error coins have been skyrocketing in value. That's why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay top dollar for unique finds. If you ever come across a 1967 Lincoln penny that fits the bill, you could be looking at a serious payday. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, let's do a quick recap. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be the most valuable penny hiding in plain sight. If you have one, check its condition, weight, and any unusual features. And most importantly, don't go spending your pennies without a good once-over. You never know what could be lurking in your change jar. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting treasure, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insider tips, rare coin finds, and money-making strategies coming your way. You don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. And before you go, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found in your pocket change? Let's swap some stories and maybe even uncover the next million-dollar coin together.